Hey guys, it's Mike again making another video about Tough Mudder. Now I know it's been a while since I've made a recent Tough Mudder video, but I still get so many questions from my other videos that I thought I would kind of make a follow-up video to address some of the questions, specifically about the gear that you wear or need to take for Tough Mudder. And so we'll talk about that today. Now certainly if you're looking for information about training for Tough Mudder, we've got a video about Tough Mudder tips, which I've got a link to there, and we also have the entire Tough Mudder race, at least one of the couple of the Tough Mudder races, with tips for each of the different obstacles. And again, I got a link for that as well too. But today, let's just specifically talk about the gear, and we'll talk about the shoes, socks, shirts, shorts, gloves, and other little things, various pads and things like that that you may want to consider. Now, I've got an individual video that really talks in detail about why I like a specific shoe for mud racing, but I want to just give you just a brief overview here, and if you want to watch the other video and for the detailed version, you can certainly do that. But you know, most people are going to wear probably a running shoe, something like this, and that's fine. You know, if that's what you run in, you certainly can do that. Remember, it is a 10 to 12 mile race generally, and you're going to want a comfortable shoe. The negative with a shoe like this is, you know, that it's going to hold a lot of, it's going to be kind of heavy by the time that it picks up water and mud and things like that, possibly by the end of the race. And plus, it doesn't really clean up as well as the other shoe that I'm going to show you. And it's not necessarily designed for trail running either, but it is still a good shoe. A lot of people tend to take an old running shoe, and then if they're only going to run, say, one Tough Mudder, then they'll throw the shoe away, or they have a big pile where you can donate that at the end. And that's fine if you want to do that, but if you're going to run multiple mud races, you may want to actually invest in a trail running shoe. And this is the New Balance MT20 trail running shoe, off-road shoe specifically, and as you can see, the bottom has Vibram sole technology. It's very flexible, very lightweight, and it's got a really lightweight mesh upper. It drains water extremely well, and like I said, I have a whole other video about this, but if you're going to do multiple mud races, you may want to invest in a shoe like this, just because it is really designed for something like this. So that's your shoes. In terms of socks, if you're going to wear that particular shoe that I just showed you, it's actually designed to be worn without a sock. I tend to wear it with a sock, so I'm just comfortable that way. You may want to think about using what's called a compression sleeve, or just a long athletic sock. Something, you know, kind of like this, which is extremely long. I can't even fit it in the entire thing, but you know, it's going to cover your entire calf. The reason why this or a specifically designed compression runner sleeve would be good is because it is a 10 to 12 mile race, and your calves take a beating during a race like Tough Mudder, and anything you can do to really continue to make sure you get the blood flow in there, I have found to be extremely helpful. The first time I did Tough Mudder, I did not use it. My calves and everybody on our team, it just really killed us. The second time I did another mud race, I wore the compression sleeves, and it really made a difference, and I'm going to continue to do that moving forward. So that's just a tip about socks. You can get, you know, obviously those athletic socks or something from Walmart, they've worked fine, or you can get the actual compression sleeves from a runner store or Amazon or something like that as well too. A couple brands you want to look for are Zensa, Z-E-N-S-A-H, or also CEP is another brand that's also pretty good as well too. So let's talk about the shirt and the clothing. A lot of people, especially if you do it in warm weather, less is best. Obviously, you can't run naked, but you know, less is definitely best if you're doing it in the south. Obviously, if you're doing it up north or in a cold weather area, you know, you're going to have to adjust your clothing appropriately. And you know, the outer clothing I'm going to kind of leave up to you, but a lot of people tend to wear some of the Under Armour, either the cold weather gear or warm weather gear. Just a kind of example of that in the shirt format here. You know, this is an Under Armour dry fit shirt. It's a kind of a form-fitting shirt. I like form-fitting shirts as opposed to loose clothing for a race like Tough Mudder, because you're doing so much crawling and you know, over nets and through the mud and stuff like that. I don't want something that's going to get snagged on something. Now I will wear a shirt like this, you know, just a standard A-frame t-shirt, and that's fine as well too. But the Under Armour shirts are also very good. In terms of shorts, again, I try to stay away from something with pockets. Anything that could get snagged is something that you don't want to I would think you'd want to avoid that. Okay. Underneath your shorts, though, I would highly recommend that you wear a pair of like support pants, compression pants like this, or from Under Armour. You also have other support pants there as well too, if you can see those there. Okay. The reason why, again, is because just like with any kind of a running activity, you're doing 10 to 12 miles. You want to make sure that your hamstrings and thighs and your glutes are really supported very well as other areas, are supported very well. And I find compression pants do that extremely well. And again, they keep the blood flowing. So that's just a little tip kind of underneath the clothes, so to speak. Now, gloves. There's a lot of people that wear gloves. I wear gloves as well, too. I wear an old pair of workout gloves that I can just keep using over and over again. The kind where your fingers are cut out so the tops of your fingers are still showing, but it's covering your palms, okay? And you can actually, this is a tip that I've got from other people as well too, in responding to some of my videos. Home Depot sells a pair of gloves for about $5 to $7 that actually has a really nice rubberized grip that's extremely helpful when you get to the monkey bars, which are very slippery. So, the workout gloves I use, I've never fallen off the monkey bars, knock on wood, hopefully I won't. But those gloves with that rubberized grip, other people have said have been very helpful. So you might want to take a look at that. If you're doing it in a cold weather environment, some people have said they use gloves with the full finger cover. I would think that'd be kind of hard. And some of the areas like the monkey bars where you're having to really get your fingers to grip with. But, that's what they say, so you might want to keep that in mind as well, too. Now, another tip. A lot of people often overlook this, but you can, and I have done this as well too, carry a little fanny pack. I know that kind of sounds a little weird, but you can carry an old fanny pack or something like that, and get a pretty thin one. You can stuff it in your shorts or something like that. What you can do is you can put an extra pair of dry socks in there inside of a plastic Ziploc bag, and if you have a concern about the socks getting wet and it's going to cause blisters or something like that because it's such a long race for most people, you could change into those dry socks or because they would be dry. I know another friend actually that put a sandwich inside of a plastic bag to keep it dry, and then about 6 to 8 miles in, he ate his sandwich because, again, it's such a long race. So, but carrying a fanny pack would allow you to, also a place to store your keys or whatever else you want to keep in there. So that's something you can certainly do. It's going to get wet and muddy. So, I don't necessarily use a waterproof one because it's just an old one, but it is something that you can do. So again, you put a Ziploc bag inside there. Now let's talk about elbow pads and knee pads, things like that. The first time my friends and we did this race, and I'm over 40, and the average age on my team is 45. So we're the old guys, so to speak. We thought maybe we need elbow pads and knee pads because you're going to be crawling around and everything. And some of the people on our team did take those, but since the first race, we found that's really not necessary in the majority of cases. So if you want to take elbow and knee pads, certainly you can, but I think for the majority of the race you're not going to use them, and they're just kind of going to get in the way and maybe weigh you down as they get filled up with water and mud. So I probably wouldn't necessarily take elbow pad or knee pads unless it's a real issue for you. So those would be my tips on the gear for Tough Mudder. Certainly, if you have a tip to share, we would love to know it. Please share it in the comment sections. But hopefully you find this video helpful. And again, if you want information about specific training tips for pre-race or race day, we have a video for that. Or if you want to see the whole race in action and us doing that race with tips about each and every obstacle, the ones that we encountered, please watch that video as well too. Thanks for watching and have a great day.